Hello, and welcome to Real Talk with me. This is as real as it gets. There is no filter, no makeup, no contacts, glasses on the side. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to connect in this deeper way. I have been documenting the transformation process from, I guess, technically as long as the social media trail has been created over 6 years ago. However, I've been specifically documenting through the Real Talk with Me podcast for a couple of years now. And it's so interesting to look back and listen specifically to my voice. I know that hearing our own voices is a new, different experience for many people to really understand what that feels like. So that alone is a huge overcoming. And in addition to that, it's interesting to notice the evolving process and what have been the key turning points for transformation and how can we foster deeper flourishing in this way. So releasing all judgment, all of the stories, everything that no longer serves. We are now creating space for our abundant purpose to be coming back together. So, as we start on this journey, I would just like to take 3 centering breaths. So, the breath is our tempo and a tool for transformation that we can return back to at any time, which is such a great reminder and something that I continue to remind myself in moments where I forget about that very important practical tool. So, the time of this recording is December 30th, 2020. And I'm just shocked that time is such a concept and how when we're present, we're able to feel like time is slowing down, even when that might not literally ever be the case. So, just reflecting on the biggest learning lessons and takeaways from this transformation process, how can we deepen our discoveries with compassion? And that's one of my personal biggest challenges, is releasing that story, that negative self-dialogue that can often create giant roadblocks. And one of those things is with this podcast is I created the opportunity to speak into being all of the things that I'm so excited about sharing. However, there have been blocks as to the physical publishing and producing and interviewing and all of the logistics that go into it. Now, those logistic things go into everything, so it's important that we balance where our energy is flowing. So, one of my biggest bravery moments is letting go of that story, comparison, and all of the other things that might be blocking us in our adventures. So, one of the things I would love to invite us all to do is continue to be our own guru, to trust our inner guide, because that intuition is the key, the answer to everything we have inside. So, in moments where we might be searching to technology or external validation, invite yourself to take a breath, connect to your tempo, pause. And what inside are you feeling? What does that feel like on a sensory level? And that gut feeling you have in your core, what is that guiding you to do? And how does that feel? So, this reset moment is huge. It's critical. And as we cultivate courage to continue discovering on this adventure, we can use this tool to foster that deeper discovery. So instead of searching externally, we're searching internally to our environment inside and truly, truly connecting in that deeper level, because when we are at peace with ourselves, we create a ripple effect of love. And the deeper and more we express our light, that is shining out into the world and is a reflection to everyone everywhere. So it's a huge concept. And I think that it's something that was truly missing for me. And when I reflect on how this inner dialogue has continued to evolve and transform throughout the years, there was a turning point where I felt as though it didn't matter what I did. And knowing that I wasn't the only one that felt that way was beyond reassuring. But it does matter. Everything we do matters. Everything, every action, every breath has that ripple effect. So in moments where we might want to hide in our shell and just, be, that's amazing. And it might be what our body needs in those moments. However, please notice when you exit your shell, when you expand, when you adventure with an open mind, how your ripple effect of love shares throughout the space. So a small example is when you're walking and you see someone and you wave and you say hello. And then they say, hey, I hope you're having a great day, or, oh, hello, like little things that now that person has that positive touch point with you and they can bring that throughout their day. And the same thing happens for those not so positive reactions. However, when we exit our shell with that intention, it's beautiful how we can come together and connect in this deeper way. And it's really interesting to reflect on the ripple effects of everything we do. And when we're noticing that, it's powerful, it's real, it's so real. So the background noises are always going to be there. There's always going to be a distraction, something picking us up, that noise. And although we might sometimes want to quiet all of the noise, there are always things out of our control. There's always something. And even when we think we planned for everything, there's always something. So knowing that and accepting that and surrendering to the unknown creates this space for flow. And we're able to just freely be. And that is powerful. It's so powerful. So in this surrendering process, there are a few different practices that are amazing to deepen our discoveries. And one of them is to literally say, I surrender, to go into child's pose and feel that surrendering taking place. And also writing it out and then burning it. So you write it out, you put your deepest desires onto paper, and then you literally surrender it to the elements and ignite the flame and let it disperse in how it needs to. So whatever resonates with you in your surrendering rituals, the full moon is also a great time for that. So letting go and surrendering everything that we cannot control. And as yesterday, the 29th of December, was the full moon, it was just so many layers, so many things. And this letting go process became so physical for me. I actually woke up and cleaned out deeply the backs of my closets behind me. So that was literal and emotional and freeing. It was so freeing. And now I want to bring this practice of organization and clearing and letting go and honoring the emotions that come up. It's so interesting how material items can hold an emotion and hold an energy, and how they evoke those deep feelings within us. And as we are going through and discovering what these reactions are evoking in us, how can we honor them with compassion? So there was moments when I was cleaning out my closet and I was just brought to deep tears and deep emotional reactions. And initially I did want to, or I did judge myself for that. And it's so important. And part of the reason why I'm sharing this now is because this vulnerability with ourselves is how we deepen that compassionate container of love. So yes, it's scary. But when we just take action and go for it, it's done. So it's a really great feeling. And I am speaking this into being so I can continue to cultivate this organized action with my digital laundry and dusting and going through all of the clutter and clearing everything that no longer serves. It's essential that our technology is a tool to enhance our experiences, not to take away from them. So when I have a gazillion tabs open, my storage is full, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, we're not at the highest level of functioning. So any advice or practices that have been working for you in your decluttering of your physical, digital, and mental space, please share them so we can continue the conversation and foster this fluidity in all that we are doing. Through these practices of self-discovery and expansion, our senses are a beautiful way to connect. So previously we've had a few real talk coffee chats, some sensory discovery conversations of enlightening the elements, and today is a finale of bringing it all together. So I have my special drink here. It's nice and warm, so I've been holding it, and that's been the clanking of the spoon on the jar in the background. But if you do have a drink, and or you have one nearby, or you want to pause and bring the drink and come back, do you, however it flows for you. But we're just going to take a moment and feel all of our senses through this object. So whether it's a glass of water, a special beverage, an imaginary thing, noticing the sensation on our hands. What is the temperature? Is there an aroma? What smells come to mind? Is there a sound? What does it look like? What's the color? And is there an additional element that's arising for you? Like, I already have warm and fuzzy feeling inside, and I haven't sipped my drink yet, but I just already feel so cozy and connected without even tasting it, which is so special and magical. So as I take a taste, I'm going to be fully present and mindful of the temperature because this one's hot. Wow. It's beautiful with the different temperatures, noticing how you feel the warmth travel inside. I got some chills and tingles. And also, as I was taking a sip, I did notice the steam. And that's so cool. And something that's awesome with wearing glasses is when the steam comes up and your glasses get foggy, it's like a full immersive experience. So I'm just so interested and intrigued about how can we bring these sensory experiences together in a deep connected way in our everyday lives. So it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. It's supposed to be fun. It is fun. We just need to transform the dialogue so we feel the funness of everything we're doing, or feeling the joy and the flourishing, because the future is now. This is the moment. This is our life. So how can we live it to the fullest? And one of the things I let go of many very long lists for the full moon ritual was letting go of rushing. And that's something that I feel conditioned by my technology, by society, by very long list, to be in this rushing, always on, always everything. And I'm just over feeling behind. My timing is my divine timing, and it's unique to me, and my path and your path is unique to you, and your timeline and the steps that you take are going to be and are your steps. So they're unique, like a snowflake, like our fingerprints. There's only one, and that's you. So, how can we continue to enjoy and appreciate each step and look around and feel the magic of our surroundings without judging, without rushing, without looking forward or looking back, just being? So that is what I'm calling into my future, to continue noticing the moment. So right now, how I feel the warmth on my knee from this drink, and just connecting in this deeper way, resetting with the breath. And there's so much to talk about, which is why I love the Real Talk podcast, and why I continue to come back to this method of documentation and connection, because there's so much to connect about. There's so much to talk about. And I'm going to continue talking about it with courage. And if something interests you, let me know and we'll keep talking about it deeper. But for now, we'll just keep things high level. So, as we were talking about the moon and the energies of the universe and the cosmos, we're always being supported in this divine way. So, when we connect to this rhythm, this harmony of everything, we can really be in flow. And in moments where we feel unaligned or out of that harmony, how can we pause and reconnect? So, if it's bringing action into your life with movement, or through speaking, or through connecting in a deeper level on a physical sensory connection, notice what that feels like for you to realign. And perhaps there are practices such as chakra alignment with the colors, with different foods, with movement, with sounds, vocal toning, connecting. Sound therapy, coming for a session. So there's just so much that we're sharing and deepening in this conversation. And just being is so freeing. So, some I am statements that have been really grounding for me are: I am peace, I am prosperity, I am free. Peace begins with me. These mudras have been profound in my personal practice and those of our community members, and it's been a pathway to persevering. And I'm just so grateful and excited. But what I was trying to say as I continue on this stream of consciousness tangent was, this conversation, this work is sacred to me. This is so important and deeply connected to my passion, my spark, my why. And that's what fuels me to keep going, because this is something that I feel so deeply connected to. And this is the enlightenment, the light that's already there, that gets sparked and ignited, and the magic with the elements and the senses, and using technology as a tool to bring it all together and tie the bow. And I am letting go of the story of what that needs to feel like, whether it's a curated Instagram feed or magazine coverage or whatever it might be that's mainstream and considered success. And letting go of that is so freeing, because we can now have the freedom, the space to create from this place of love. So the love is inside. It's so divine and it's always there. So it's just a matter of dusting off the distractions and connecting back to our core of what is it that sparks our light inside and when do we feel ignited in our flow state. And for me, it's been an evolving journey, and I have multiple flow states. I have many things that spark my magic, and I know you do too. So being content with that multi passionate purpose is magical. And I'm excited to continue exploring together and fostering this flow within our flourishing because there's so many different layers and I am scuba diving in the depths of everything. So may we continue to cultivate our magic and trust the timing. I think that one of my favorite things with this Real Talk podcast is that it's real talk, it's unedited, and it's unfiltered. And technology has intervened many times where it just stops on its own or it glitches or what have you. And I have a beautiful interview with Andrew Montesantos on the day of an eclipse, and it was so cool because he wasn't aware of the timing and the interview, and our conversation just so happened that I asked a very intention setting question that he answered so beautifully in the moment of the exact alignment of the planets. And it just so happened that my computer ran out of storage right when he was done with his train of thought. And I'm just like, how did that even happen? Just how? And it's inexplainable, which is why this is magical to connect in this way. So enough said, it just is. So I look forward to re-listening and re-watching these conversations because each time we're going to learn something different when we're open to receiving the lessons that we're ready to in that moment. So if that's something that resonates with you, I invite you to also record yourself and re-listen and learn from your distinctions and awakening moments because you are your own guru and you have all the answers you need inside. So keep cultivating that magic and finding out what is it that really, really ignites your magic. So as we continue to cultivate these curious questions of what's next, what's now, what's happening, I invite us to continue coming back to this moment, being so present and so grateful for our magic, for being here. We're all here with a unique purpose to learn and deepen our lessons. And we don't need to know all the answers. So these are the reminders to me and you and our future self or past self, everything, that we are exactly what we need to be and we are free. Thank you, time. Thank you, space. I trust that we're all in the right place. And until we meet again, namaste. Grateful for you. Woohoo! See you soon.